Hi, in this video we're going to discuss solution layering. So what are we talking about here? So I think the best way to explain this, and I'm going to do this in a very basic demonstration, is to actually show you the concept in action. So just to give, even though I am aware of solution layering, I recently had an issue whereby I made a change to an unmanaged solution in a development environment. I was happy with my changes. I exported it as a managed solution. I went to import that managed solution into an upstream production environment. But try as I might, those changes that I made in the development environment weren't reflected in the production environment. And I knew that the solution had imported perfectly, but this is where ultimately solution layering was the problem. And hence why, if you've watched some of my Center of Excellence videos, one of the prerequisites before you upgrade a solution is to ensure that you remove unmanaged layers. So that's a little bit of a cat out of the bag as to ultimately what the issue is. But here we go. So here we have our Solution Layers 101 solution. We have a very basic Canvas app within this solution that literally has a text field that says the word original. So we're happy with that. We want to now move this from development into our test environment. So with our Solutions Layers 101 selected, we're going to click on Export Solution. Now you could do Publish to make sure all changes are going to be included, but I know for a fact that our single Canvas app has already been published. We're going to click Next. We're going to make sure that we do it as managed, because that is, you do have to understand solutions more if you're doing it as managed, because unmanaged, you can just, regardless of wherever you import it, you kind of have full control. But we're going to go with best practice, and we're moving it into more of a test environment. And if we wanted to make changes, we would have to come back to development, do it in our unmanaged solution, export as managed, and so on. So we've got it as managed. We're going to export. It's then going to give us this little notification to show us that it's exporting the solution. We can see the history as well. I sometimes like to switch between the two just so I can see what's happening. And although there we go, it's appearing now. And then ultimately this banner should change to a green successfully exported solution, all being well, and give us the option to download, or depending on your environment configuration, it may automatically initiate the download. So I'm going to click download. I'm going to do save as, save. And then we're going to move into our test environment. Once within our test environment, still in with solutions selected, I'm now going to click, in fact, I'm going to get rid of this banner. I'm going to click import solution, browse. We're going to browse to that solution that we just downloaded from development, and we're going to click next. I'm now going to click import, although you'll just to kind of show for a future, in a future export and import that we're going to do. Here we have advanced settings, which only has the enable plugin steps and flows included in the solution option. We're going to click import because this is the first time the solution is being made available. It will be subsequent imports of this managed solution where we'll get into the notion of the upgrade options. So again, we can look at the history, and we should shortly see that it's kicked off an import job. We've also got the currently importing solutions layers 101 in the banner across the top. Although it seems to be taking a bit of a while today, but it shouldn't take too long to import this solution because it's not really got much going on. So the first test is going to be just to confirm that we launch the Power Apps Canvas app within the solution in our test environment, and it basically reflects what we're expecting it to. So we're going to come into Solutions Layers 101. I'm going to click on Apps when it loads. Although I could have done it from the All menu as well. And I mean, this is a critical thing to get into the habit of. This is the moral of the story, essentially. If you have components within a solution, always work with them from within the solution. So this is telling you here, because this is a managed solution, you cannot edit this app here. You can play it because it's a set in stone artifact, if you will. But if you want to make changes, you need to do it in the unmanaged solution, which is in development in our case. So that's a critical point. And as long as you get into the habit of working on your components, even creating, especially when Power Automate flows are concerned, from within your solution, that'll keep you on the straight and narrow. It's when you start to make changes outside of the solution, which you can, to the elements, that's when you're going to have this problem. And equally, anyway, enough waffling, we'll keep going with the example. So here we're going to play, and we should find that the app launches. We've got a single text label, text field, and it just says the word original. Great. So now we're going to come back over into our development environment, and I'm going to go to solutions. I'm going to come into our solutions layers 101. However, this is an unmanaged solution. So here I am going to have the ability to edit. And when this comes up, I'm just going to add another text field that says change one. And if we were to just do that, export it as managed, import it as managed into test, all would be well. But we're going to do something that we shouldn't really do to prove the point. So here I'm just going to copy this text field. He says, okay, my keyboard doesn't seem okay. I'm not even going to fight that control paste. I'm just going to do another text label. Not sure what was going on there. Change one. And I'll just do a save and publish. Really should get into the habit of doing version notes, but for the sake of this demo, we won't publish this version. And once we're happy, we're going to back out of here. And let's just take a quick look at solution layers. So if we select the element from within our unmanaged solution in our development environment, in this case, if we expand advanced and say see solution layers, here we just have the one unmanaged layer. So there's no layer stacked on top that has changes that would take precedence over the unmanaged layer. So that's all fine. What we'll just do, in fact, before I waffle on, is we're just going to export this solution again managed. You see it's notched up the version number automatically. You could bring the version number down, but be aware that you wouldn't be able to have a lower version number and import it over the top of a higher version number in the environment that you want to import the solution into. And with that exporting, in fact, we'll just wait for it to finish. And we'll download again. Save. So now coming back into test, if we go to solutions layers 101, the managed version, and if we do the same thing, advanced solution layers, again, we've got the one layer, that's fine. It'll be that one layer that's upgraded. You'll actually notice that as part of an upgrade, it staggers an upgrade version on top as a layer until it's happy it's successfully done, and then you just end up with the one. So now I'm going to do something that we don't want to do and that could make it so that you're not seeing those changes that you make in development in test after a solution import. So here I'm just going to go to apps. So we're outside the context of our solution, which we're saying is a no-no if we're working with solutions. Here, I do have the ability to edit it regardless, because this isn't giving us that solution aware help of it's a managed solution, you can't edit it. And the point here also is that you don't necessarily have to make a change, especially with autosave kicking in, which probably doesn't help. But just the fact that you've gone in to edit it, and this can happen with flows as well. You've gone into edit just to take a look at the flow, not necessarily make any changes, but that's enough to create an unmanaged layer. So I don't know whether this will be enough. Maybe I do need to tweak something just to, because I just want to be sure that it's going to happen. So I'm going to do save and publish. Publish this version. And then we're going to click back and then leave. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back into our solution, which is where we should have been all along. And here we're going to take a look at solution layers again. And here we've now got an unmanaged layer on top. And what that's going to do is if we come back to solutions and now import our solution with, which should give us that additional text label with change 1. So if I select our version 2, next. Again, here we're going to get some different changes because we're going to acknowledge that you should really go with the default because the upgrade is going to align everything, even component removal within development here. And then we're going to initiate the upgrade. Again, we can watch the history because I want to keep this video to 15 minutes. I'm just going to pause up whilst this is happening. Here, I just wanted to show, so here you can see that we do, for a while, have two side by side, one being upgrade. If I was to go into, although I might have needed to do it on the other one, let's just have a look. If we go to solution layers, yeah, you can see at the moment, whilst the upgrade is taking place, you'll have this extra layer as well. But can you see that unmanaged layer is always stacked on top? So if we come back, I don't know whether it's going to be happy with us doing this ahead of time, but if I go into the upgrade one, which should be the latest version, although it says successfully done now, let's just go back to solutions. So now we've just got one again. Let's just have a quick confirmation of what layers we've got. So again, whilst that base layer has been upgraded, that unmanaged layer is now sitting on top that doesn't include the change in our base layer, if you will. So if I go to now launch the Canvas app, so press play, we still have original. We don't have our change 1. So what we would need to do in a world where we do have unmanaged layers prior to an upgrade, well, ideally we wouldn't have done the edit outside of the solution, and then we wouldn't have this problem. But what we would need to do to get beyond this is, because you need to have a process, don't you, of app development. So you're saying that the unmanaged solution rules the roost. Everything else is just a set in stone artifact almost. So in that instance, we should be fine to say, well, we shouldn't ever have an unmanaged layer on top of this. So we would select that layer. We would go remove active customizations. And then once this is removed, I'll double check it. I want to say that it'll just revert back to the version that does have change 1 in it. If not, we would have to do the upgrade again. But if we click apps now, and if we go to play it, we do now see change 1. So that's the critical thing. I mean, solution layering, it works really well. And as long as you're aware of it and what's happening, you can use it to your benefit. It's a good mechanism. But I just wanted to kind of show you a real life scenario that you could find yourself in, and just how, understanding the concept, you can very quickly realize what's gone wrong and make changes in your process, or even just remove that unmanaged layer to ensure that you see the latest changes. Okay, thank you for watching.